I'm Natalie Sessor, and welcome to eVid Magazine. We're here with content marketing expert, founder of Junta42.com, and co-author of Get Content, Get Customers, Joe Pulizzi. Joe, thanks so much for being here with us tonight, and welcome to Washington, D.C.
Thanks, Natalie. I appreciate being here.
You co-authored the book, Get Content, Get Customers.
Yes.
What led you to write that?
You know, I think there was a hole for, there was a lot of marketing books talking about this new, a lot of new stuff going on in marketing, and buying decision making was changing, but not a lot of people were talking about how companies needed to be their own publishers, and that's really what the book talks about. It kind of takes you A through Z into you as a company, as a brand, you need to actually be a publisher. You need to put your publishing hat on and say, how do we tell our story to our customers? How do we create a message that's going to make an impact, and ultimately we can sell more products and services at the end of the day.
To the businesses, I mean, for me, something like content marketing, custom publishing is a mouthful.
Yes.
So could you please just explain to us a little bit what that means?
It is a mouthful. I would say the easiest way to explain it is that marketers, marketing professionals, brands, companies, whatever you want to call them, now need to consider themselves publishers. And the reason why that is that buying decision making has changed. We're not looking at ads to make buying decisions. We're not getting cold calls and actually taking them and making buying decisions from them. We're not looking at brochures and making a buying decision. What we're doing is we're going to the internet. We're going on the web, we're going to Google, and we're typing in information to get educated to make buying decisions. Now the point is that if you as a company have a product or service to sell, and you aren't a part of that conversation anywhere on the web, you're not going to be considered as part of that buying decision. So the point is, how do you get to be part of that conversation, part of that decision-making process? And it's to create valuable, relevant, compelling content that when those customers go out on the web, they find you and they say, wow, this company has really delivered this awesome information to me. And the hope is, and what we're seeing is, when they're ready to make a buying decision, they say, I want to go with that company because they've given me all this really good information. I trust them, they are a trusted expert, and I want to do business with that company.
And as far as the new way, like you spoke, that the consumer is going after the product, do you think it was the consumer behavior that inspired this new marketing strategy, or do you believe it was the change in marketing that's kind of inspired this new behavior in customers?
Yeah, maybe the best way to answer that question is just look back 15 years ago. What options did we have to get information? We had television, we had radio, we had print magazines, and we had newsletters. Now we literally have hundreds, if not thousands, if you really break it down, of different channels that we can get our information. So instead of, if I want to watch House on television, I'm going to wait 15 minutes and then I'm going to TiVo it or DirecTV it, and I'm going to pass through all those commercials because I just want the content. So we can ignore all those other interruptive messages that are not meant for us. So your customers today, they don't have to listen to you. And as a company, what I have to think about is, my customers don't care about me. They don't care about what I have to say. They don't care about my products or services. If you come from that angle, you have to think, well, what will they care about? They care about themselves. They care about what's important to them. They care about the challenges that they have in their work or in their home life, or whatever the case is. Now that, as a company, as a brand, that's what I need to talk to. Those are the things that I need to solve for my customers. And then when I get to build that relationship and they think of me as a trusted expert, then there's an opportunity to actually sell product or service.
Businesses now really have to reorient their whole marketing concept or scheme, like you said, moving away from billboards and brochures into a new way to catch consumers' attention.
Well, I don't think traditional marketing is going away. I think we'll still have that, and especially in niches and in growth areas, you're going to see advertising be an important part of that. But for the most part, your customers have so many options where they can direct their attention. So why should they even pay attention to any of your advertising that goes on? I mean, why not create a marketing department? And that's what we're seeing going on in marketing departments today. Why not house your marketing department with journalists? Or why not partner with a team of experts that can tell your story more effectively, so that your customers will raise their hand and say, yes, I actually want to receive your marketing? And that's what we're seeing. You know, companies like Procter & Gamble or Nike, they're creating programs that people people actually request and say, I want marketing from Nike. I want marketing from Procter & Gamble. We didn't see that years ago. But so Procter & Gamble and Nike, they're becoming publishers. They're realizing, and they're saying, boy, what are my customers' informational and education and entertainment needs? What really are they? And then let's deliver on that. And when we do that, they'll want to buy from us. And so that's really what we're seeing. And so you're seeing that in marketing departments. It's completely changing, whereas you had a product marketing person and you had a distribution channel, and you'll have those, but you have less of a focus going on those traditional areas and more of, we need a group of people in our organization that can tell a story.
Situation that you have encountered as of late that really reflects this change in marketing.
Many companies out there that are trying to figure this out, and they're trying to experiment. And I'll give you one with social media. So everybody comes and they say, Joe, how do I get started in social media? What's this with Twitter and Facebook, and how do I get going? And I said, well, first of all, you don't want to start asking a question, what is my social media strategy? The first thing you want to say is, what is my content strategy? Because social media will not work without a content strategy. And what I mean by that is, first you have to figure out, what do your customers really want to hear? What's helpful? So let's say that you and I were having this conversation, and I'm just talking about me the whole time, how I wrote the book and it was awesome, or you're talking about, boy, your career's just taken off and things are going great, and you do that for a half an hour. Well, at some point, you and I, we're both going to shut down. We're going to say, it's not about me. I want something that interests me. It's the same thing with companies, and the same thing with social media. So a lot of companies start using these social media channels, and they start directing sales messages through them. And people will they have so many options, they'll shut you down. So in order to be successful in social media, you have to create some really valuable, interesting content on a consistent basis, and then people will follow you, and then people will be fans of your Facebook fan page or whatever the case is. So it's almost getting marketers to think, take that sales hat off and put on your publishing hat and really think, if they were a reader, what would they want? What kind of information that would make them happier at home or happier in the workplace? That's the type of information that can make a social media program work.
Give us 3 things that you would tell businesses regarding content marketing that you want them to know, because
I would say, if I was to leave people with 3 things, first of all, for content marketing, it would be number 1 is listen. Use all the available free online tools that are available, and listen to what your customers are saying. And that means opening up all your channels, your salespeople, your marketing department, your customer service people, survey software, whatever the case is. Figure out what they're challenged with. Now that'll form the base of what you can figure out what is your content strategy. I think the second thing is patience. If you look at any kind of publishing enterprise that has ever happened, it hasn't started and just taken off in 2 weeks. Content takes time. I think the most important thing outside of creating a valuable, relevant message is consistency. So if you have something really, really powerful to say, but you only do it for a couple weeks, you've already broken that content promise. So you have to do it consistently, day in and day out. And when you do that, then you become the trusted expert in your industry. The third thing is, you need ownership in your company, I think, is the most important thing. What happens is companies have so much content going in and out of their company. They have white papers and newsletters and all kinds of stuff going on all over the place, and they don't know how to figure out, well, out of all this noise, where's our story and where's our message? You almost need somebody in your company to be like the chief storyteller or the chief content officer to say, okay, you're the person that's in charge of telling our story. That doesn't mean that you won't outsource a lot of that to a company to get that story told in a different medium, but the buck has to stop somewhere. So somebody in your company has to own the story and own the message, so that you can figure out, okay, on a consistent basis, here's what our customer, the reader, really needs. And that's the person that's going to say, okay, here's our company brand message. Here's how the story is going to be told through all these different media.
Joe, it's obvious that you really have your finger on the pulse of marketing strategies and where this is all headed. And we want to thank you so much for joining us tonight for a little while. And we want to make sure that if you have not yet visited Junta42.com, make sure you check it out. Joe, thank you so much again for being with us. Again, my name is Natalie Sessor, and thank you for joining us for another edition of eVid Magazine.